A massive Red Sox trade is incoming as brand new reports reveal major information surrounding the Red Sox trade deadline and really what it's going to look like going forward as it gets closer and closer by the day. I'm here to break down how Ryan O'Hearn could be the biggest name the Red Sox go out and acquire and how he could be a great move for them not only for the rest of this season but for years coming. We'll break down all of that on this episode of Red Sox Digest. So thank you guys for watching. But remember to scroll down and click that subscribe button to stay up to date with everything Red Sox, as nearly 90% of you guys watching this video are not currently subscribed to the channel. Thank you guys, but now let's get to it and break down whether or not another big name target for the Red Sox will actually be acquired by them before the deadline does expire on Thursday. This time, we're going to break down Ryan O'Hearn. Now, if you don't know who that is, he is a slugger for the Baltimore Orioles who has played pretty damn well this season, arguably having a career year, already posting a 2 WAR, which matches his best season up to this point in his career. And if you look at the underlying metrics, overall, a pretty good, consistent hitter for the Baltimore Orioles, who's been playing a lot of DH. And because of the Rafael Devers trade and him landing in San Francisco, he made an all-star team this year. So he was thankful that Craig Breslow made that trade because it opened up that DH spot for him, because before Devers being moved, he was arguably the clear-cut favorite to be the all-star DH for the AL. Ryan O'Hearn ended up benefiting from that trade, and he was rewarded as he deserves it. He's played pretty damn well up to this point, and he's not only logged games at DH, but he's also logged games in the outfield as well as at first base, where we could assume the Red Sox would be seeing a lot of him, in the sense that if they do go out and make this trade and try to acquire Ryan O'Hearn from the Baltimore Orioles, who not only be playing a little bit of DH, but a lot of first base, where we see the breakdown of his fielding this year for the Baltimore Orioles. He's really played all over the place. He's played both in right and left field, as well as 30 games at DH and 46 games at first base. Ryan O'Hearn has a lot of versatility, something that would fit in well with this Red Sox organization, as we speak about it at nauseum on this channel, how versatile and how much flexibility they have on the defensive side of things, with Cedon being arguably the best center fielder in the entirety of the MLB, while also getting reps at second base with Meyer going out. You obviously have Jarren playing anywhere in the outfield, as well as Roman moving around from right to left. Toro, Romy Gonzalez, the platoon options they do have at first and second base as well. There are a lot of different options, and Ryan O'Hearn would be a great benefit to have, because he would be able to be that everyday first baseman, something along the lines of Yandy Diaz, like we discussed in previous videos on this channel. Now, the two major pieces of information that we have that leave us to believe the Red Sox are actually going to be in on Ryan O'Hearn. The first one from Boston Strong, citing Ken Rosenthal, as he goes on to say that he expects the Red Sox to be active in the trade market, mentions like everybody else has been, that they're going to be looking for a number 2 or number 3 starter in an upgrade at first base with potentially Naylor or O'Hearn. Now, Naylor is Josh Naylor. If you don't know, he was just traded to the Seattle Mariners, as they were one of the 2 major teams looking to acquire some raw power, specifically at first base. Now, Naylor, I will argue, is not nearly as good as Ryan O'Hearn. If you look at the underlying metrics, his swing and miss is way below league average, as well as the K and really lack of barrel percentage, all correlating and being way below league average. That is not the case for Ryan O'Hearn. He is more of a complete hitter. Now, I'm not going to argue he's the better player overall, because you can make that debate either way. I will lean Ryan O'Hearn in this case, not only because he's the only one left available in the sense of Naylor and O'Hearn. Yes, Yandy is still available, and that's a totally different conversation. And there is some options for the Red Sox, which is good. They're not going to be forced to make a single trade if they have to make one. They are going to have options, which is always good to have. But I think Ryan O'Hearn is one of the 2 better options with Yandy Diaz. I think Naylor was the lowest option available, the cheapest option because of the price, as well as the overall production you're going to see from him. Now, a change of scenery could help any of these guys. We see it a lot in sports, regardless of the actual professional sport they're playing. But I think Ryan O'Hearn being put in Fenway Park would greatly, greatly help him. His spray chart, he can really hit it anywhere as a right-handed hitter. But in Fenway Park, I would guarantee you we'd see him pull the baseball just a bit more, as he does have a favorite, or he does favorite the right-hand side of the field. He does like to go to the opposite field, like we noticed with Yandy Diaz. But now, for the second piece of information, a tweet from Matthew Cora, as he cites Steve Peralt. I apologize if I mispronounced that. He is one of the hosts on Section 10. He's very good at what he does, and we all love Section 10 because they do a good job covering the Boston Red Sox. But he goes on to say, on the Section 10 podcast, the Red Sox are, quote, very interested, end of quote, in first baseman / DH Ryan O'Hearn from the Baltimore Orioles. Quote, he said also that, quote, the price might not be as high as some folks might think. That's one of the quotes. And then he goes on to say, O'Hearn would be a great fit in Boston. It's a move that I'm hearing a couple of murmurs might happen. Now, that's the end of the quote from Steve on the Section 10 podcast, and I really enjoy this piece of information because it leaves us to believe that not only do we know that Breslow and the Red Sox organization are going to be very much and have been very much involved in trade conversations, but just because Josh Naylor is now off the scene and is not available, it does not mean the Red Sox are totally shifting their views. They had an idea that they wanted a first baseman. They have a few names that they're going to look to acquire based off the years of control after, which, again, Ryan O'Hearn does have. That's not his contract. This is next. That's not true. He is currently in the last year of his contract. Next year will be an unrestricted free agent. I thought he had one more year. I apologize. He would be a rental for the Red Sox. Is this something the Red Sox would like to do based off the other pieces of information specifically surrounding the starting pitching market? It is not something they're going to be leaning towards. But because it's not a starting pitcher, you could make the argument that they could still be in the market because they don't want to do the platoon every single day with Romy Gonzalez and Abraham Toro and the other guys they're throwing in at first and second base, and more of a platoon option, especially with Meyer on the IL for the next 10 to 15 days with his sprained left wrist. I think the Red Sox are going to cut it down to not only Ryan O'Hearn, but I think Yandy is going to be their favorite to go out there and get, especially if the Rays continue to lose and they soften their price even more based off of what we broke down in the last episode on Red Sox Digest on the Yandy Diaz conversations. They did start to soften their approach. If that continues, they could go after Yandy because he does have more years of control after the season in comparison to someone like Ryan O'Hearn. And just to compare Josh Naylor, something that I mentioned earlier, I didn't know I had the actual screenshot in front of me, but this is his underlying metrics. In comparison to someone like Ryan O'Hearn, you can understand why someone would favor O'Hearn, as well as the ability to play him really in a multitude of different positions on the defensive side of things. First base, DH, left field, right field, especially in Fenway Park. I don't know if you'd see a lot of right field, but off the green monster, we've seen Roman in left field. Again, if you can play the ball and judge the ball off the monster, you can fit in there pretty damn well. The arm strength is not great from Ryan O'Hearn, so how much outfield work we see him in a Red Sox jersey, I would probably limit and doubt, but a lot of DH, a lot of first base for Ryan O'Hearn, an everyday guy, if I had to guess, if the Red Sox were able to actually acquire him. Like we mentioned earlier, posting a 2 WAR up to this point in the year, matching his season or his career best through a season's tenure. And we're just past the halfway point. Ryan O'Hearn is going to continue to hit the baseball. Yes, Baltimore is a dumpster fire right now, but he is one of the shining moments and one of the shining pieces for that Orioles team. And I think despite their struggles, he will continue to hit the baseball as well as he has up to this point in the year. Overall, I think this is one of the better options for the Red Sox. I will say I'm still leaning Yandy Diaz in the entirety of things for the first base position, but Ryan O'Hearn is no slouch and would be a great fit in Boston. I absolutely agree with Steve's quotes here from the Section 10 podcast. Let me know down below your overall thoughts and opinions on this possible move. Who would you rather have out of the names that we've discussed? Naylor's off the table because he is now a freshly new Seattle Mariner. But for Ryan O'Hearn and Yandy Diaz, which direction would you rather go? Yandy has more years of control after this season. He does have great offensive numbers, hitting right around the 300 mark. He's had many years hitting above that 300 mark, where he's actually hit 320 and led the league in batting average just a few years ago. He doesn't hit for crazy pop, but he does have some pop in his bat while hitting for a high average. Good defensive player. Or would you rather have Ryan O'Hearn, someone who's not far off? He's not hitting as well in the sense of statistically, but the underlying metrics do stand out, and he is a credible first baseman with a good amount of versatility. Let me know down below your overall thoughts and opinions and where you would go if you were Craig Breslow and the Red Sox. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one.